Hello, Active Sage here on the Sage channel, and today, as per usual on a Thursday, an update has come out for Space Engineers. Now, this update has done something pretty fantastic. It's added all these new blocks right here in front of me. Really, this is just 3 new blocks with all their construction states. Now, these blocks are pretty impressive in looks and function. First off, I'm going to go over the looks real quick, and the fact that, look at these upgrade states, these build states, I should say, of them. There's a lot more detail in these than usual. I get the feeling this is probably going to be how things are moving forward, as I think they're getting closer and closer to that DirectX 11 or maybe even DirectX 12 stuff. So we're going to start seeing more high fidelity stuff, because look at this, even in the build states, all of this looks like it's properly stuck together, whereas in the past usually you get the feeling there were just a few, you know, rectangles or triangles or whatnot stretched out and maybe get the basic shape of it. Now, what do these blocks do? Well, they're 2x1s, and you stick them on the back of assemblers or refineries. And what they do is they either increase the speed that they work, how much they actually output, or how much power they take. So the first one right here, on the back of your refinery, you'll notice that you have a bunch of sockets now. So let me go ahead and actually put down a refinery. There we go. And place it right here so we can see it in the sunlight. And you can see that on the back now we have all these sockets. Now these new blocks, when you go to place them, they're like this. And you basically just line up the sockets so you can place them on there. I don't think they work like that as such. Well, maybe they work halfway since 2 of the lights are green and the other 2 are red, but they're designed mainly to go like this. And you can, of course, mix and match them between the different types, setting them all up however you would like. And that's why I have 3 of these here, just to demonstrate their bonuses. So let me zoom into this one here, and this is the productivity one. And if we go into here, you can see I have 100 uranium stuck into here. And if I go ahead and turn on the refinery, it'll instantly pull that uranium into the refinery and start cooking it up. And we're at all default speeds. This isn't like ×5 speed or whatever. This is at realistic speed. And you can see it's just ripping through that uranium like it's nothing pretty much. And even though the productivity is higher, it works faster, it produces stuff quicker, it doesn't actually produce more. You need another module for that, but it does actually produce the same amount it would just on a normal one, so you don't have to worry about speeding it up and maybe losing out on how much you get. So you can see it's cooking through that. When it's done, it'll make about 0.59 uranium ingots. Moving on from productivity, we have effectiveness. Very strange naming on these, a little hard to remember. Now the effectiveness one is actually how effective it is at making more. I almost feel like these names are different. Like effectiveness should be, I guess it makes sense, effective at how effective it is at making a lot more, but the names I find are very confusing. But again, we have 100 uranium in here, and we can turn this on and it'll take the uranium out, take it into the refinery and start cooking away. And you can see here, this is running at the default speed. Because you have effectiveness on it, it doesn't slow it down, make it run slower or anything. It doesn't make it use up more energy, I don't believe. Let's just double check. No, I'm pretty sure it doesn't make it use up more energy. But what it does do is just make sure you have more uranium. So when this is finally done, it's actually going to create 1.12 ingots. So that's a little around double. Not quite double, but it's getting there. It's about, I don't know, 0.6 less than double. It makes a fair bit more, and that's with 4 of those things stuck on the back of it. And then the last one here is power efficiency. So we can go ahead and turn this one on as well, and as soon as we hit go, it'll start doing the same thing, and this one runs at the speed as the one we were just looking at. The bonus here is that if we go back to control panel and look at it, you can see at the bottom right there it says max required power, or max required input. It's only 112 kilowatts. So you can basically run this off of 3 reasonably aligned solar panels. So you could run a whole big ship refinery off of just 3 solar panels. It's pretty awesome. You can also see there that it actually has your productivity, effectiveness, and power efficiency all right there down at the bottom. So you can see how increased they are. So power efficiency is 500% its usual. Or of course, if we were to go ahead and look at this one here, need to look at the actual control panel on it. There we go. You can see it's 200% effectiveness compared to the usual. And if we were to go ahead and take off one of these and look at it again, you'll see that it's dropped down to 168% effectiveness. So it makes a bit of a difference, just one of these, but of course the more you have, the better off it'll be in whatever way you want. And again, like I said, you can mix and match these. Now, moving on from working with refineries, we can go over here to an assembler. And you'll notice that they have 3 assemblers here, just like I had 3 refineries, and the middle one is red. That's because effectiveness, the one that gives you even more stuff, doesn't actually work for these. I guess speed is, of course, how would it get more material out of that? You need the same amount. I guess maybe if it cut corners and your parts broke more frequently? I don't know, but that doesn't work, effectiveness. But the other 2 work, so for this, we can go ahead and go to production, and we have about 2,500 iron in here, and this is a productivity one, so it's going to work faster. We can queue up 100 of those. There we go, it's pulled in the metal. And you can see this is just at normal speed, and it's slowly pulling them in and producing it. We can go ahead and skip over this one here. As I said, the effectiveness one doesn't work, and we can go over to this one here and click into our production tab, and we can go ahead and queue this one up in this power efficiency. And you can see how slow this one is going. That's not because of the power efficiency, that's just because the other one we were just looking at was that much faster, actually. But again, as we did before with the efficiency, or power efficiency, of the refinery, we can go ahead and look at the assembler, and you can see this one is only requiring 112 kilowatts, whereas a bog standard assembler here would require 560 kilowatts. So it's a heck of a difference. It's pretty cool. And just like the previous ones, again, you can go ahead and see at the bottom right there, it does tell your productivity and power efficiency. Again, no effectiveness on these because that would require more components to be just materialized out of space. And again, here is one more machine for you guys. We can go ahead and look into here. And this one is just set up with a few different things on the back of it. They just show you a nice mix of them all. And of course, we could then go ahead and turn this on, and it'll take the uranium, just like the other ones, and start cooking through it. So you can see it's going through it a lot quicker, and it's going to be slightly more effective at making more of them, and it's going to be slightly more power efficient, because it's got the power efficiency on it. Pretty cool stuff. Another thing they did today, if we hop over here, and press K on the keyboard and go to the Info tab, you now have these 3 bars here. You can actually go ahead and tweak these, and this is for your personal character, on how far away you'll be able to see friendly antennas. So, right there in front of us, we have a friendly, an owned, and an enemy antenna, and we can go ahead and tweak those all individually. So we can set this one up to, let's say, 75 meters, this one down to, actually, can we left click? Aha, you can control and left click and you can enter numbers, so we can go ahead and set these up however we like. And there we go. So now, you'll see that these antennas, depending on your distance, you'll be able to see them, even though the antenna is still broadcasting from a larger distance. If you, let's say, are sitting inside your base and you don't want to have just a bunch of antennas cluttering up your view, you can now do this so you'll only be able to see them once you get to a certain distance. Now, ideally, I actually kind of wish this had a middle ground. A lot of people have even suggested this already, is that you have a near distance clip field where you can set it so I can see it from way the heck out here still. But I want another bar I can slide in here that'll set it so I can't see it when it's within 200 meters or something. That way, when I'm inside my base, I won't be bombarded with all these all the time, but the second I leave my base, oh, there we go, I can see them again. And I even kind of wish that setting was inside of the actual system in here. If we go ahead and look at it, the antenna itself has no new settings. It'd be kind of nice if that stuff could be set up here so there'd be like a dead zone, but at the same time, that kind of, I think the reason they didn't do that was because they were fearful, and that sort of implies that the antenna is no longer broadcasting in that area, and therefore your actual ships and other things wouldn't be able to pick up the signal. Anyway, guys, that's that for the main bulk of the update. I would like to point out something else. If we can fly in here, there's actually 2 things I want to point out. One is, look, this is max turning speed pretty much with my in spectator mode. They seem to have murdered it. It's, yeah, I'd expect it to be, you know, look how quickly I can turn as a character. I'd expect it to be, when you're in spectator mode, you can still turn at the same speed. For some reason, it's like they're setting it for maybe controller to work better or something. I don't know, maybe it's an Xbox thing that they're working on. It sort of bounced back to this. But it doesn't seem to take the same mouse sensitivity that your normal character has. It's a lot of work to actually turn your camera in spectator mode now. And 2, looking at the character, they updated the character last week. Well, they've done a little bit of an update this week. I think all they did really is plugged in the normal maps and the specular reflectivity and stuff they had in the past because, well, the reflective helmet is back and some other stuff like that. So if you have a custom of characters and you unplugged all that stuff for your custom characters, modders, it's time to plug it back in. Maybe they thought they were closer to DirectX 11, they were going to change stuff around more, or maybe they still are, but they forgot this or something. I don't know. Anyway, it's back. That's pretty cool. This whole update is pretty damn nice. And yeah, that's it. Anyway, guys, that's it for the 3rd time. Thank you a bunch for watching, and I shall see you guys next time. Ta-ta.